There's no better way to try to find some fish if you're fishing a grassline lake than a deep crankbait. This is a 17.5 dredger right here, and it's a great size for, you know, the grass right here. The top is about 14 feet deep. I've got the boat sitting in about 18 off the edge, so we're just trying to take the top of that grass, and this is just kind of the perfect diving depth for this particular lake. But you know, I'll go all the way down to a 25.5 for really deep stuff and a 10.5 when they're even shallower. One thing to remember when you're fishing a crankbait this aggressively, you know, is to not use ultra light wire treble hooks. You know, the Fusion 19 hooks that come on this thing are really stiff. You know, they don't have any give. So when you pull into when you're ripping it free and pulling into a fish and working a fish over pretty hard, bringing it back to the boat, you're not going to straighten them out. It's a big deal on this type of crank. And you can see here, I'm not necessarily kneeling and reeling, but I've got my rod tip just above the surface of the water, and just depending on the depth of the grass, I'm gonna totally vary that. You know, if I'm fishing 10-foot hydrilla on Sam Rayburn or Toledo Bend, I might have the rod tip up here while I'm reeling in, but right here, I'm throwing the 17.5 and the top of the grass is in about 15 feet. So it's a pretty perfect combination. I'm throwing a 10-pound test right now, and I've got my rod tip low to the water, and this crankbait should be pretty easily getting to the grass, but not over digging the grass so much where I have to be snapping literally the entire time. When you do get that right combination of the crankbait that's running the right depth over the right depth of grass, you're able to just steady wind and fish it fast like this. And basically, I'm just reeling it almost as fast as I can until I feel it get bogged up just a little bit, until it stops vibrating. I'll rip it, pop it like that, and just free it from the grass. And sometimes that's when your strikes will come also. But you know, I love when you get into a situation, your setup's just right, you're able to just steady retrieve like that, because you can cover so much water, and you get such a good reaction out of those fish when this thing comes smoking past their face. There's another one. There they are up there. We got them fired up now. It can be literally every cast when you get a school going doing this. So much fun. They just absolutely smoke it. That's a good fish too. Now they're biting. You want to just get back in as quickly as you possibly can, and remember the angle that you're going at. A lot of times I'll throw out a buoy right here. I'm just gonna mark a waypoint, and we'll just try to keep hitting that same angle over and over again. You know, you really can't use a super noodle cranking rod for a couple reasons on this. First off, you know that it's gonna actually prevent you from getting the longest possible cast on this big deep crankbait, but also for ripping this grass free from the treble hooks. You know, if you've got too soft of a rod, it doesn't matter how hard you rip, the grass is gonna stay on the treble. So I've got an Ike 710 medium heavy right here, and this is a rod that's got both fiberglass and graphite in it. So the graphite gives you the power and gives you the light weight to, you know, to be able to fling it a long way and rip it free from the grass, but having a little bit of glass in it makes it softer than your standard medium heavy, you know, graphite rod. There's one right there. And you can see as I'm fighting that fish, now that we've got him hooked, that fiberglass in the rod is keeping those treble hooks from pulling free. We just barely got him in the back hook, but I'm not even worried about it with that rod. It keeps him pegged pretty good.